As we told you, this is tonight's first State of the Union address for President Biden. So the question is, how did he do? For that, we bring in our political analyst, Larry Gerston. Larry, let's talk about the speech in itself. The president ending on a high note, really unifying the country, very much a pep rally. Started talking about Ukraine and the situation with Russia. Did he do enough to bring people into that and understanding the American people why this is so important for the U.S. to take this position with Russia?
Well, he certainly did for the first 12 minutes, Jessica. It was all about Ukraine. It was all about Putin. It was all about how unjust it was and how the United States would not accept any of this, and that Putin had much more coming at him than he even realized. So I think he was very strong on that. He also ended very strong when at the end of his speech he said, the State of the Union is strong tonight. We always hear that at the beginning, actually. But this time he said at the end, the State of the Union is strong, and it is strong because of you, Americans, my fellow Americans. You are making it strong. So I think that the beginning and the end were such that it was kind of the speech where people felt, he looked strong. Republicans paint him as this kind of feeble old guy. It didn't come out that way, at least in terms of his tone, if you will.
And when you were listening to it, Larry, was it was it that ending that was the most resilient for you for what the president was talking about, or was it our resolve against Ukraine and uniting the world against Putin? Which did you feel was the strongest moment for the president, especially a president whose approval rating is so low right now?
Right. I think both parts were good. I mean, it's nice to know it starts strong, and it's nice to know that it ends strong. The stuff in the middle was the usual hodgepodge of things. You know, we got to do this, we got to do that, we've done this, we have to do more, that kind of stuff. I do think he had a really good moment inside that speech when he came to the things that he said both sides could agree on. We can agree that we can deal with the opioid issues. We can agree that we can come together on mental health policies. We can agree that we can work on veterans and getting them the kinds of care they need and dealing with cancer, those four elements. And he reminded us that despite what you hear about divisiveness in Congress, about nothing gets done, that he had signed 80 pieces of bipartisan legislation over this past year. I think that's something a lot of people haven't thought about.
But we did see some of that divisiveness today, even in the gallery, when the president was talking about his infrastructure bill. We saw some of the Republicans push back during that speech.
Yeah, there were some boos. There's no question about that. We've seen that. It's become commonplace, unfortunately, in the last few administrations. You remember during the Biden administration's State of the Union, somebody actually screamed out liar. So that kind of decorum is there these days, unfortunately. I do think he had a bad moment, if you will, when he decided to resurrect Build Back Better. You know, he was going along talking about the $15 an hour wage, child care, all these things that we're gaining applause. And then he talks about, well, we've got to do this and Build Back Better. There's no reason to go back there. It's been done. It's gone. It's not going anywhere. And so in the process, I think he reminded people of the things that he hadn't really been able to do because of Build Back Better.
And very quickly, Larry, did you think it was an overall success for the president? Do you think it's going to change the way people are looking at him right now?
You know what, Jessica? We've seen these speeches come and go. The attention span is very limited. Not that many people watch it. The press is more engaged than anybody else. I doubt that many minds were changed tonight, but certainly he'll be working on this and promoting what he talked about between now and the end of certainly the end of this year when we have those congressional elections.
All right. Thank you very much, Larry. We appreciate your insight.